In this video, we can discuss test methodologies and test plan. This is the content for the test methodologies and test plan. Uh, Software testing classification, white box testing, black box testing, different, different testing methodologies, the V module, test plan. In the test plan, need for test plan, problems, contents of a test plan template to conclude. Okay. What is testing methodologies? There are number of methodologies available for the testing software. The methodologies choose depending on the factors such as nature of project, the project schedule, and resource availability. Different applications require different ways of testing. Same test methodology cannot be implemented at each and every phase of testing. These are the different testing methodologies. Here, characteristic methodologies are security, reliability, robustness, performance, user friendliness, functional behaviors. Methods, there are two main methods in the testing methodologies, white box and black box. White box testing done by the developer, black box testing done by the test engineer. Here the levels of details. The levels of testing is done by unit test, module test, integration test, unit test, system test. And after system test, we can do the regression test and then user acceptance test. Yeah. Software testing classifications. Nature of the interaction with the product. Static analysis, dynamic analysis. There are two types, static analysis and dynamic analysis. Knowledge of implementation, knowledge of implementations, two types. One is white box and black box. Mode of running means whether are you doing manual testing or automation. These are the testing classifications, mainly two types of classifications, static analysis, dynamic analysis. Static analysis means we will do the reviewing the requirement documentations, review the designs, walkthroughs, inspections, audit. These are done by the static analysis. And in dynamic analysis, we have two types. Under the two type, white box testing, black box. As I mentioned earlier, white box testing done by the developer, whether he is done manual testing or automated. In black box testing done by the QA. In black box testing also two types, manual and automated. Here, as we discussed earlier, white box testing is done by the developer. They will, the process which an application is tested through the code. He will test the code, test the functionality through code. So we don't, here, uh, developer should knowledge on the functionality and code knowledge here in white box testing. Methodologies. Statement testing. Basically four types of white box testings: statement testing, loop testing, path testing, branch testing, conditional. These are the advantages and disadvantages of the white box testing. Black box testing. Basically, this testing done by the test engineer, testing software based on the output requirement without any knowledge of internal structure or coding in the program. Tester don't have knowledge on the programming and uh, software product coding. So process in which application is not tested through the code. This was not tested through the code. Uh, this is mostly widely used testing approach and is more in case of websites. These are the advantages and disadvantages of the black box testing. Different testing methodologies. First, we will start the unit testing. Unit testing done by the developer. Development, it was unit test performed in the developing stage. So this is the statement. Unit testing is the development procedure where the programmers create a test as they develop software. The tests are simple short tests and that the test functionality of the particular unit or modules of their code. Integration testing. Integration testing is which software component, hardware component, both are combined and test the evaluate the interaction between them. Uh, Unit test is done in local, is a software developer done in his local system in mission. Integration means after the development is done, he will push the code into the test environment, stage environment. Then tester will do the testing on the test or staging environment. So that is they will evaluate the integration between systems, different hardwares and components. So it is called integration testing. System testing means testing conducted a complete integrated system in totally. Evaluate the system's compliances with specified requirement. Provides assure that software meets all functional, behaviorals, and performance requirement established during the requirement analysis. Yeah, sanity testing means brief testing of major functionality elements of a piece's software to be determine if it is basically operational, so that bill can be accepted for the further testing. Only basic testing on the major functionalities are performed without bothering with finer details. Also referred as a smoke testing. This one called as a smoke test. Functionality testing, checking for all the correct functionality of the systems, that is checking whether the desired outputs is obtained for a given valid input. Usability testing means is a means for testing or measuring how well people can be use the application or product for its intended purpose. Compatibility testing. Testing whether the system is compatibility with other systems with which should be operated, communicated. To test the functionality and performance of the software application across the multiple platforms, configurations like operating systems, browsers, database, servers, client, hardware, other software previous versions of the software, etc. Like compatibility means we can test the different, for suppose if the product is the web browser, we will test in different browsers like Safari, Chrome, and mobile devices like mobile device browsers, Chrome and Safari in iOS, in Android device browser, and Chrome browser in Firefox browsers. We will test the web page in different, that is called compatibility testing. Performance testing means to test the runtime of performance of the software to whether to see whether system is performing up to the client performance requirements. So some of the accept includes connection time, response time, sending time, process time, transaction time. These are the main characters, some accepts in the performance testing. Basically, it is done by the load test, load testing also same thing. It is a define the maximum amount of work system can be handled without a significant performance designation. Stress testing means is a process of determining the ability of the system maintain a certain levels of effectiveness under the unfavorable conditions, evaluate the extended to the which system keeps working when subjected to extreme workloads or when the sum of its hardwares or softwares has been compromised. Acceptance test. Acceptance test makes sure that this test makes sure that software works correctly for the intended user in his or her normal work environment. Alpha testing means versions of a complete software tested by the customer under the supervision of the developer at the developer's site. The developer observed the usage of the system's record, use problems or errors, analyze the system for bug to resolve them. Beta testing means version completed of the software is tested by the customer, selected personal plans like um, is is or her own site without developer being present. The systems is tested using real data in the real user environment that is cannot be controlled by the developer. All problems encountered by the users would be reported back to the developer at regular intervals. Acceptance test is the final testing process for the occurrence before the new system accepted for the optional used by the client. It is to get confirmation from the client of the object under the test. Through trial or review, the test the system that system meets requirement specifications. These are the different testing methodologies. Monkey test means simple test. Test application, stochastic inputs without any specific test in mind, like random testing. Like we don't have any proper input in this form, so we can test like stochastic inputs. Stochastic inputs means we can give like yeah. Exploratory testing is the testing application by the exploring the application learn and testing goes hand in the hand. Tests are logically with the internal internet of the learning the system. No test cases are used. Adaptive testing is also application based acquaintance with that application functionality. Tests are logically with the family, familiarity of the functionality. No test cases are used. Regression testing. This done by all the testing, all the methods completed. We will do this regression testing by done by the tester before releasing to the before giving the product to the customer. They will execute all test cases. Like here mentioned that testing performed to use that changes made to the application does not affect the unchanges part of the application. Change may be due to bug fixes or enhancements. If any bug fixes are fixed, that bug fix is not affected any other functionality. So we will do the regression testing. Retesting is just validating bug fixes that is not regression testing. Okay. This is the V model for the software development. We will customer environment here. First, we will take the business requirements and the software requirements here and the design specifications. These are the development cycle here and program specifications and coding. Unit test done by the unit testing and integration testing and system testing, acceptance testing. And coming to the V model means customer to again coming to the acceptance testing done by the customer. Test plan. Test plan is a document described that scope and approach resource and schedule of the intended testing activities. It identifies test items, the features of the tested to be tested, the testing task, who will do the each task, and any risk requiring contingency planning. It is a systematic approach to testing the systems such as a missions or softwares. The plan typically contains detailed understanding of the what the eventual workflow will be. Need for testing. These are the need for testing points. The process of preparing test plan is useful way think through the effects needs to validate the acceptability of the software product. The completed document will be help people to outside the test group understand why and how product validation and software companies cannot be offered to develop and test their systems on the headache basis. A well-defined test methodology will help to ensure that companies develop their products in the most of efficient and cost-effective manner. Problems. When project is does not identify its overall approach to be testing, it's given the rise to problems listed below. No clear defined role and responsibilities, no clear test objects. I will define test document, no strong feedback loop. What is scope? Scope clauses define what features will be tested and what is the aid to doing this, prioritize them using the techniques such as Moscow. Testing items of the software, hardware, and a combination of those that will be tested. Features to be tested. What is the features to be tested? The part of the software specification to be tested. Features not be tested. The part of the software specification to be excluded from the testing. Resource clauses give overall view of the resource to be deliver the task. Environmental needs. What is the need what is the needed in the way of testing software and hardware, office line, etc. Responsibilities, who has responsible for the delivering the various part of the planning. Staffing and training needs, the people's and skill need to be delivered the plan. Time, the time clause specified the what tasks are to be undertaken to meet the quality objects and when they will occur. Testing task. Testing task themselves, there are dependency, the elapsed the time they will take and the resource required, scheduling when the task will be take place. These are the quality clause. Risk clauses are this. Below are the risk clauses. Test plan template. As per ANSI and IEEE standards 829 or 1983 specification, following test plans are outcoming. First, test plan identified, introduction, test item, feature to be test, feature to not be test, approach, and what is the approaches, the item pass or fail criteria, suspension criteria, and reasonable requirements. These are the test plan template. Test plan deliverable, testing task, environmental needs, responsibilities, software testing and training needs, schedule, risk and contingency, approval. To be to conclude, the role of testing is guided to testing activities. It defines what to be tested and what is